Good morning, students. Today is Monday, September 12th, 2011, and you're watching Line TV Jumpstart. I'm Lakin Isom.
And I'm Dylan Rohr. Stay tuned for a video remembering 9/11.
Also on today's show, we have Cody with your local weather and Corey Webb with your latest sports announcements.
And we're back. Now let's take a look at the question of the day. The question is, what state has the longest coastline? Is it A, California, B, Florida, C, Michigan, or D, Texas?
That answer will come at the end of today's show.
Do you remember where you were on 9/11?
I do. I mean, how could I forget it? All I remember was that I was in second grade and that there was all kinds of stuff on TV. And, you know, even though I was in second grade, I was pretty young, but, you know, it's something that'll always stick with me.
Right.
Here's Ashley and Justin with a recap to remind us about the event.
I was teaching at the junior high then. I was teaching resource English classes, and we had been in the gym that morning for an assembly of some kind, and when we came back, the kids in my class were talking about it, and I hadn't really heard anything about it, and we turned on the television and saw what was happening.
So I headed down to the library with him, and as I got there was a crowd of people already there, teachers and students, and we started watching as they kept replaying and they were talking what's going on. We were in shock. Nobody was saying anything.
I was here in the office and Miss Mosley came in and told us we needed to turn our televisions to watch the news that something terribly wrong had happened to the World Trade Center.
We were watching it and I think we might have been talking about how awful that was and how scary it would have been to see a plane heading towards you.
And then suddenly a few minutes later, probably 10-15 minutes later, we were watching live as they said, oh my gosh, there's another plane. And another plane crashed into the other tower.
There's reports that plane just flew into the World Trade Center. We've been watching it. I said, you got to be joking. So we turned it on, and I don't know if it was in between the time that he had watched and he'd come in that the second tower had been struck. Well, needless to say, we were glued to the TV the entire period, trying to find out information and trying to make sense of a senseless act. And as we kept watching, the reports come in that the Pentagon had been struck, and a little bit later on that a fourth plane had been hijacked and basically was thought to be hijacked, but they didn't know about where it was, and later find out that was a plane that had crashed into the fields of Pennsylvania.
The parents started calling the front office and taking their kids out of school. We found out that all of downtown Dallas was being evacuated, especially high-rise buildings, because of this fear of some sort of attack on us. We, for a while, thought we might be at war.
I remember one of us turning to the other one and just saying something about how that doesn't happen on accident, and it was very upsetting.
I think everybody realized as they were watching it that things would never be the same. I think that everybody realized life as we knew it would forever be changed.
I think I was too young to understand exactly that it meant that we were headed into some kind of conflict, but I do remember feeling worried that there was going to be more coming.
I knew that we would now be in a war with someone or some country, because this would not be something that we would stand aside and just let happen to America.
I just could imagine these planes full of people and the buildings full of people when they collapsed, so I could just see 40,000 people being killed.
Throughout the day, we kept talking about different things, watching the news and keeping up with it. It was pretty much impossible to do any work that day, but honestly, work on that day was the furthest from anyone's mind. History in the making, what do you say? You have to deal with it. You have to address it. You have to talk about the circumstances. You know, and imagine after those events, my mind keeps going back to what it must have been like when Pearl Harbor was bombed. Quiet Sunday morning, early in the morning in Hawaii. But then you think about people getting out of church or whatever they may have been doing on Sunday, similar circumstances. Hey, there's this word on the radio that Pearl Harbor's been bombed. And so I imagine that what they went through then is what a lot of people did on 9/11. Flashbacks, if you will, for the elderly. You know, similar circumstances. An attack on the nation just doesn't happen. But it did those days, and it did in September of 2001.
I'll never forget it because it was a time that brought America back to what we normally were many, many years ago, especially after like Pearl Harbor.
You think of all that happened on that day. The response from the fire crews, the rescue services, and even them, some of them lost their lives in the collapsing of the towers. It's a point in time that needs to be remembered. Because as the saying goes, if you don't remember your past, you're doomed to repeat it. And if we don't remember these events, such as Pearl Harbor, the falling of the towers or the attacks, complacency creeps in and history will repeat itself.
There was no color at 9/11 anymore because everybody was covered in ash, and so everybody looked the same and we all worked together. And I think that's real important.
For me, 10 years ago, it's ever present. Maybe for the people here at the high school, they're 16 to 18, 19, somewhere in that age, 15. You know, 5 or 6 years old, you might have a vague recollection. But Sunday, take time to pay attention to all the reports, the historical reminiscence, if you will, and the documentaries that are going to be on, because it needs to be told and retold.
Thank you guys so much for that.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already been 10 years. Crazy.
Yeah.
The cure this year is October 22nd. Register for the race online at www.colemanarkansas.org. If you want to join the Searcy team, click Join an Existing Team and choose Searcy Schools. The $26 registration fee includes a participation fee as well as a race t-shirt. All proceeds go toward finding a cure for breast cancer. Be checking the announcements for more information about how to order a Searcy team shirt and ride the Searcy bus to the race.
Harding University will be hosting a college planning night for parents of high school juniors and seniors on Monday evening, September 19th from 7 until 8 p.m. in the newly renovated auditorium at Harding Academy. Students do not have to be planning on attending Harding to go to the workshop, but tips for acquiring financial aid and Arkansas-specific state scholarships will be discussed.
Spanish honorary dues must be paid by Monday, September 19th. You must pay Ms. Nilsson or Ms. Rumpel.
Any student interested in a career in optometry or medical research, see Ms. Bailey in room 217.
Please mark your calendars for the Searcy High School Fall Future Fest. This event will be hosted on Thursday, October 13th in the Searcy High School cafeteria. Seniors will be released to attend from 8:30 to 9, and juniors will be released to attend from 9:15 to 9:45. Parents are encouraged to attend. Now let's head over to Cody Johnson with your local weather.
Good morning, Searcy High School. My name is Cody Johnson, here to bring you your weather on September 12th, 2011. It is such a wonderful day to be alive, if you ask me. Let's hop over to the almanac and see what we have for this morning. Today, you can see a high of 92 with an average of 86, so not too far off. A record high of 102 set in 1980. With your low of 61, your average low of 60, so right close up in there with your low of 42, not too low if you ask me, set in 1940. Of course, with this beautiful sunshine to just make everything so much better. Let's hop over to the 5-cast. Wow, just take a look at that 5-cast. Monday, of course, with a high of 92, a low of 61 with that beautiful sunshine. Carrying on into Tuesday, we're going to see a high of 96, a low of 66. Partly cloudy day, but not too bad. Wednesday, a high of 86 with a low of 61. 30% chance of thunderstorms, which is going to carry on into Thursday with a high of 81, a low of 60, and a 46% chance. It's kind of exact if you ask me, so it's going to happen. Friday, high of 80 and a low of 59 to finish off the week. What a wonderful week it is. Let's see what we have to eat. Monday, you're going to see cheese pizza, seasoned green beans, baby carrots with ranch dip, strawberry shortcake, and milk, of course, with your choice of white or chocolate. That's all I have for you, but before we go, I would just like you to take a moment of your day and just remember what happened, because that's all we can do is remember. And just be thankful that you are alive today and that you have another day to live with the ones that you love and your friends. That's all that we can ask for. Have a good day.
Thanks, Cody. The deadline for submitting senior ads for the yearbook is September 29th. Don't forget that you now have an option of getting them in color. Also, please return your senior portrait proofs and orders to English teacher Miss Brown or Miss Hollyfield by next Friday, September 16th. Be sure to mark your yearbook or composite choices on the white envelope in the proof packet. The proofs will be returned to you later.
Drama Club will have a meeting September 27th. Also, FCCLA will meet Wednesday at 7:35 in the Family and Consumer Science Room.
Makeup pictures and retakes will be October 3rd from 7:20 until the end of first period in the library. This is for underclassmen and seniors. Group pictures will follow in the gym.
Key Club returning members' dues will be $15 and need to be delivered to Doc Watson's room, room 317, by Friday, September 16th. Students interested in joining Key Club may begin picking up applications now in his room. Completed applications are due by next Friday as well. Dues will be $20 for new members.
The monthly NHS meeting will be next Tuesday, September 20th at 7:35 a.m. in Miss Rose's room, 309. Meeting attendance is mandatory for an honor cord. Also, September 20th is the last day to pay your $10 dues.
Now let's head over to Corey Webb with your Searcy High sport announcements.
First off, the Lady Lions volleyball team took on Little Rock Hall last Thursday and won the first 3 matches, did not lose a single match. I would like to take this time to personally congratulate them. I know the past 2 years you've been working really, really hard to get to this moment, and at times it's probably been tough, I know that, but now you're finally seeing all that hard work pay off, and I, for one, am extremely proud of you, and I know the rest of Jumpstart is, and I know the rest of the school is, because now you guys have a 2-game win streak going, which has never been done in the history of Searcy volleyball, so congratulations. Y'all are the first ones to ever do that. I look forward to a wonderful rest of the year with you guys watching it, and it's going to be fun. The next home game is this Thursday versus West Memphis. Come out and see if we can make it 3 in a row. That'll be fun. Also, in the sports news, the tennis team played Mountain Home Thursday. Girls and guys both won 8 matches to 2, and Coach Doc Watson told me that we won too many games to individually announce them, so that's always a good problem to have. Both the girls and the guys are 8-0 on the year, and this Tuesday we go to Jonesboro to play the 10-time consecutive conference champions at Jonesboro. So with us being undefeated and them being the runner-up, or the defending state champions, that ought to be one heck of a match. I'm excited to hear the results.
Thank you so much, Corey. That's very informative.
Now let's take a look at the answer to the question of the day. Now the question was, what state has the longest coastline? And the answer was Michigan. Who would have thunk?
I mean, I thought it would have been California or something.
That makes sense.
I know, because when you think coast, you think
Beach?
West Coast, East Coast, but I guess coast counts as...
Gotta use that noggin.
Yeah. Noggin.
Well, I believe that just about wraps up things for today's show, and thank you for your time, and we hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Dylan Rohr.
And I'm Lakin Isom. Have a wonderful day, Searcy High School.